So today we are going to start a new chapter, that is nitrogen and sulfur compounds. So it's all about nitrogen and sulfur. So nitrogen is present in group 5 of the periodic table. It's a non-metallic element that makes up about 78% of the Earth's atmosphere. It exists as diatomic molecule. Nitrogen gas is unreactive, and to understand the lack of reactivity we have to look at its bonding. Electronic configuration of nitrogen is 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Nitrogen atom need to gain 3 electrons to achieve the noble gas configuration of neon. Nitrogen atoms do this by forming a triple covalent bond between two atoms. So represent the bonding in the nitrogen molecule. The triple covalent bond is very strong. Its bond energy is almost 1000 kilojoule per mole, and it is difficult to break it. That is why the nitrogen is chemically unreactive or inert in nature. Therefore, nitrogen gas will only react under extreme conditions. So it will form the 3 bonds. So due to this triple bond, the strength of N2 is very high. So it is unreactive in nature. Formation of ammonium ion by acid-base reaction. Ammonium ion is formed by the reaction of ammonia gas with dilute acid. Ammonia gas is alkaline in nature and it turns moist red litmus paper blue. So NH3 plus H positive gives us NH4 positive, which is ammonium ion. Ammonia contains lone pair on nitrogen atom. It donates its lone pair to hydrogen ion and form coordinate covalent bond. According to Lewis concept, electron donor species are basic in nature. That is why ammonia is basic in nature. So the ammonia will donate its lone pair to the acid, and it will form the NH4 positive, which is ammonium ion. So in this reaction we can see that the lone pair is present on nitrogen, and it will donate it to hydrogen, and resulting in the formation of ammonium ion. So base is one that is accepting a proton, and base is also that which is donating its lone pair. So in these both cases the ammonia is a base. Laboratory preparation of ammonia gas. Ammonia gas can be prepared in the laboratory by heating ammonium salt with base. Ammonium chloride and calcium hydroxide, both in solid state, are usually mixed then heated. Ammonium chloride plus calcium hydroxide. So ammonium chloride is a salt and calcium hydroxide is a base. When they react together, they form another salt, that is calcium chloride plus ammonia plus water. So we can see in this diagram that we have ammonium chloride and calcium hydroxide, and when they are mixed they will be heated, and calcium oxide to dry the ammonia. So damp red litmus paper turns blue, and the ammonia gas is collected in this container, or it's a test tube. So in this way the ammonia is formed, and ammonia is a base. So this is shown by when the red litmus paper turns blue. Haber process, which is the manufacturing of ammonia. Ammonia gas is prepared in the industry by the reaction of nitrogen gas with hydrogen. Main equation is N2 plus 3H2 gives us 2NH3. Conditions are 500 degrees C temperature, 200 atm pressure, and iron is used as the catalyst. So the above reaction is a reversible reaction. As the reaction is exothermic, low temperature gives high yield of ammonia, but the reaction rate becomes slow. So it's an exothermic reaction, so the requirement of the temperature is low temperature, but we use the compromised temperature of 500 degrees C. in order to speed up the reaction. High pressure shifts the equilibrium towards forward direction as number of moles decrease in the forward reaction. We have studied it in the Le Chatelier's principle. So that is why 200 atm pressure is used, which is a quite high pressure. Now, what are the oxides of nitrogen? There are many oxides of nitrogen: N2O, NO, and NO2. Nitrogen monoxide can be formed by nitrogen oxygen in the air, and during thunderstorms, lightning provides the activation energy needed for the reaction to occur. N2 plus O2 gives us 2NO. So, in the presence of the thunderstorms, in the presence of the light, so the nitrogen present in the air will react with the oxygen to form nitrogen monoxide. And nitrogen monoxide can also be formed in internal combustion engine when nitrogen in air reacts with oxygen. The nitrogen monoxide formed is further oxidized by oxygen there to give nitrogen oxide, which is NO2. So nitrogen oxide dissolves in water droplets and form nitric acid, which falls to earth in rain. This is the vital part of natural nitrogen cycle. NO2 plus water plus 1/2 oxygen gives us 2HNO3. Nitric acid is used to make fertilizers, which is absorbed by the plants to make proteins essential for growth. So when this nitrogen monoxide further reacts with air, the oxygen present there, it will form the nitrogen dioxide, and which is nitrogen oxide, and further this nitrogen oxide will react with the water droplets and with the half molecule of oxygen to give nitrate, acidic nitrates, or this is nitric acid. So nitric acid is used to make the fertilizers, and it's very important for the plant growth. Catalytic removal of oxides of nitrogen from exhaust gases. So nitrogen monoxide is produced as a byproduct, and it is present in the internal combustion engines. So it's a nitrogen monoxide is a very harmful gas, and it needs to be removed. So there are three common method which is utilize a three-way catalytic converter. A three-way catalytic converter is a device installed in the exhaust system of the vehicles to reduce harmful emissions. It contains a catalyst typically composed of platinum, palladium, and rhodium. The catalytic converter operates under specific conditions to enable the conversion of pollutant into less harmful substances. For example, reduction of NO. So the NO is converted into reacts with the carbon monoxide and unburned hydrocarbons present in the exhaust. The catalyst facilitates the reaction, and the resulting products are end-to-end carbon dioxide, which is less harmful than the nitrogen oxide and carbon monoxide. NO plus CO gives us N2 plus 2CO2. The unburned hydrocarbons also contribute to the reduction of NO. When the NO reacts with unburned hydrocarbon, it will also form nitrogen gas plus water plus carbon dioxide. These reduction reactions convert NO into nitrogen, which is a harmless component of the atmosphere. So catalytic converter plays the vital role in this process. Now we have another topic, that is photochemical smoke. A photochemical smoke, so photo means light and chemical, smoke is a mixture of smoke and fog. Photochemical smoke is a mixture of pollutants that are formed when oxides of nitrogen and volatile organic compounds react with sunlight, creating a brown haze. It tends to occur more often in summer because that is when we have the most sunlight. In the formation of photochemical smoke, nitrogen oxides, including nitrogen oxide and nitrogen dioxide, play a significant role. One of the key reactions involving nitrogen oxide and nitrogen dioxide is the reaction with unburned hydrocarbons, leading to the formation of peroxyacetyl nitrate. So when these nitrogen oxides and hydrocarbons react, they will form the in the presence of light, so they will form the peroxyacetyl nitrate, which is PAN. It's a secondary pollutant, it's an irritant, and it is produced by the photochemical smoke. In the morning hours, the NO and hydrocarbon level increases, followed by increase in nitrogen dioxide. So PAN is produced with the ozone. Mechanism for the formation. So it's a 3-step mechanism basically, and in the first step we have the formation of peroxyacyl radicals. So in this step, the unburned hydrocarbons such as volatile organic compounds released from various resources are also present in the atmosphere. In the presence of sunlight, NO2 can undergo photodissociation reaction and splitting the NO and oxygen atom. NO2 gives us NO plus O. So this oxygen atom reacts with unburned hydrocarbons to form RCO3 free radical. So we have O plus RC, so it will give the RCO3 free radicals. This is peroxyacyl radicals. They will go into the next step and further reacts with the nitrogen oxide to give peroxyacetyl nitrate, which has the formula RCO2ONO2 PAN. It has RC3 oxygens and NO2. So it's the easiest way to learn it. RC3 oxygens NO2, which is a PAN. PAN is a peroxyacetyl nitrate, and it's a highly reactive compound and is a major constituent of photochemical smoke. It's a secondary pollutant and doesn't directly emit, but it is formed by the above reactions. It is a potent respiratory irritant and it contributes to harmful effects of smoke. So PAN is a problematic because it's a stable compound and it acts as a reservoir of NOx, and it can be reconverted converted into back to the NO and NO2, which are important in controlling air pollution. It acts as a reservoir of NOx and preventing their conversion back to NO. So it's a reservoir and it is stable because PN can undergo thermal decomposition in the low atmosphere, releasing NO2 and reactive organic radicals, which further contribute to the formation of smoke and photochemical reactions. But PN here they have written that it undergoes the thermal decomposition in the lower atmosphere, which releases the NO2. Now we have another topic, that is nitrification and denitrification. Okay, what is nitrification? It's an oxidation process. It's a natural process that occurs in the environment, and where nitrogen compound and ions such as ammonium is present is oxidized to nitrite ions, which is further oxidized to nitrate ions. Nitrite is NO2 1 minus and NO3 1 minus is nitrate. So in the presence of bacteria like Nitrosomonas, which are a group of specialized bacteria involved in conversion of ammonia into nitrates, is the first and essential stage of the nitrogen cycle. The overall reaction of nitrification is as follows. So ammonia will react with oxygen to give the nitrite plus 4 hydrogens plus 2 water molecules. Then this nitrite will further react with oxygen to form nitrate. Oxidation state of nitrogen changes from -3 to +3 and then from +3 to +5. NH4 has the -3 in nitrogen. In NH4 the oxidation state of nitrogen is -3, and the NO2 it has the oxidation state of +3, and in NO3 it has the oxidation state of +5. Now the denitrification is a biological process. So reduction of nitrate. So it's a reduction reaction, and the reduction of nitrate ion takes place, in which the nitrogen is released back into the atmosphere. Therefore, this is the final stage carried out in the absence of oxygen. The entire process of denitrification is carried out by denitrifying bacteria. Nitrifying bacteria was Nitrosomonas, and denitrifying bacteria are Clostridium and Pseudomonas. The overall reaction is as follows: 2NO3 minus plus 10 electrons. Because it's a reduction reaction, it's gaining these electrons plus 12 H positive. It's also a gain of hydrogen, so the products will be N2 and 6H2O. Okay, now this picture is about the nitrification and denitrification. So in the nitrification, the N2 will first convert into ammonia, which converts into nitrite and then nitrate, and this nitrate in the presence of denitrifying bacteria will again converted into nitrogen. So when we look at the oxidation state, so NH3 has -3 oxidation state, NO3 minus has NO2 minus has +3 oxidation state, NO3 minus has +5 oxidation state, and after that, this is the nitrification. After that comes denitrification. So NO2 minus has NO2 minus, okay, first of all it will convert to NO2 minus. Okay, NO2 minus, so it has the +3 oxidation state, then NO has +2 oxidation state, and after that N2O has +1 oxidation state, and N2 has 0 oxidation state. And when we talk about a shortcut, so NH4 positive -3, NO2 has +3, and after that we have NO, that is +2, then N2O +1 and 0. So in the shortcut they have omitted the nitrate NO3, but it's also present here, and after in the denitrification we again convert into the nitrite, and after that into nitrogen oxide, and then dinitrogen oxide, and after that into N2. So this is all about nitrogen. We'll further continue with the sulfur in the next video. Thank you so much for listening.